Howdy folks, and welcome to another Taste of Gameplay video. This time the Umikaze, Japanese Tier 2 Tech Tree Destroyer. As always, these videos are designed to give you a sample of the gameplay of the ship, not to be an exhaustive analysis. I recommend the Wargaming Wiki or other content creators. So, the Umikaze. I'm really glad this ship came up because I actually had never played it or really looked into it, and it is fascinating. So, one of the things that's interesting about World of Warships at the lower tiers is that the ships are often based on actual historical ships. And sometimes, not often, but occasionally, the gameplay design aspects of World of Warships takes a backseat to, or at least is somewhat informed by the actual historical facts about this ship. Now, I don't know much about the Umikaze, but one thing I looked into is that they actually built two of these ships, the other one called the Yamakaze, I believe. And the two ships were different. And so in game, that's reflected by having two different hulls for the Umikaze. Now, that's a feature that longtime WoW's players will know exists on several ships, mostly tech tree ships, I believe. But it's not terribly commonly used. Often it's just more like a progression blocker, so the second hull is just better than the first hull, and you just have to invest free XP or XP on the ship to get it. But in the case of the Umikaze, that's not the case. The B hull definitely is better. It has 3 guns instead of 2, it has another 1700 hit points, but it has some weird facts about it. The A hull has, for example, 5 secondaries on this ship, but they only go to 2 kilometers. So I did something a little different in this video, which is I'm going to give you a quick gameplay sample after this game is over. Here I'm playing the B hull, which is definitely the better hull and the one you should play if you play Umikaze at all. But I have a quick video at the end of the A hull of me circling around another destroyer player and letting my secondaries fire on him from less than 2 kilometers. Anyway, is the Umikaze any good? Yeah, it's not bad. For somebody who's used to playing the V-25, this is not a bad ship. It only has 4 torpedoes instead of 6, and they don't hit as hard, but they reload really fast, and they go a long ways. So they go all the way out to 8 kilometers. Unfortunately, they move unbelievably glacially slow. I believe it's 38 knots. So honestly, even with bots, they sail in pretty straight lines, but they don't quite sail in that straight of a line. So I missed a lot of torpedoes here. It's not a bad ship, though. It's got some fun aspects. The guns are terrible, but then most Tier 2 destroyer guns are terrible. They have really short range, but then so do most of the other Tier 2 destroyers. I think this is a fun ship if you're into playing Tier 2. There's nothing wrong with this ship. It's kind of big. It's a little ungainly. It teaches you about Japanese torp boats because most of them are kind of big and ungainly with some pretty serious torpedoes that go a long ways. And the fact that it reloads the torpedoes so fast makes it more fun to play just because you get more chances to make that torpedo launch decision. When you get to the really high tiers, one of the issues with some Japanese torp boats, like the Kitakami is the classic example of this, where you only get a full rack every 5 minutes. So there's just not that many moments of decision making. Anyway, this game's going to go reasonably well. I think there's 3 players on each side. This is not my finest moment. This is kind of embarrassing. I'm going to miss those, but then I didn't realize this bot was so close. He's going to nail me, and not only is he going to nail me, but I'm going to completely whiff on him, so yeah, so that is one nice thing about the Umikaze compared to other Tier 2 destroyers. It has a lot of hit points. I took a full rack from that bot. I believe that is a V-25, yeah, and I didn't die. So that's kind of nuts. So that's fun. Is this ship more fun than the V-25? No, I don't think so. The V-25 is a better boat if what you want is to just have fun. But if you're learning Japanese destroyers, or you just like the historical aspect, or you want to play around with that silly meme 2 kilometer secondary range secondaries, that's kind of fun. This is an interesting match because it is a low tier game, but it's not standard. It's not domination. It's an actual game with the three caps, the 3 cap zones. We are not going to make it to the end of this one, but I believe it is going to be a victory. We're going to get, this one's going to get pulled out by my teammate in the Oleg. I think I'm going to sink these two. That happened off screen. I think that must have been a torp on a bot that I launched a while back. They really move so slow. They go 8 kilometers at 38 knots, so it can take a long time to get there. You can forget that you even launched them by that point. Yeah, in this case, I got the jump on this. What is that, Samson? On that Samson. And now it's a couple of bots. Sorry, there were a couple bots. One's gone. Now it's just one bot and a player. I think that's a bot destroyer. Yeah. So the Charleston on the enemy team is getting shots in me over the island, so I need to get away from his line of sight just so I can at least help take care of the destroyer. At higher tiers, you would call these zoning torpedoes, but I'm not sure that even applies at tier 2. I'm not sure what that even means. It's not the same dynamics of how the game flows. Unfortunately, I have a really long reload on my smokes, so even a bot will eventually get me if he takes enough shots. But I'm going to try to help out here, do as much damage to him as I can before he gets me. Much like higher tier Japanese torp boats, the guns are bad, but they do tend to have pretty high alpha damage, so they hit hard. They just don't hit all that often. Yeah, so I get an assist on that destroyer. Now it's just down to a one-on-one. These 2 cruisers. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit since this doesn't involve the Umikaze, but this Oleg player does a good job. I've never really liked the Charleston. It does have some strong guns, but the reload's not good, and it's just a brick. I don't know much about the Oleg. I don't think I've ever played it, but just by watching this little mini clip, it seems to have pretty good reload at the very least. So secondaries on cruisers and destroyers are hilarious. It makes me often think, like, what are the gunners doing? Are they drunk? They're so random. They just shoot stochastically into the water completely at random. It's pretty funny to watch, especially from this vantage point. Get him, Oleg. There we go. Victory. GG. Well played. Compliment to that guy. And then, yeah, as promised, here's a quick clip of the Umikaze A hull with the 5.76 millimeter secondaries. It's kind of a hoot. Yeah, I guess first we have the summary screens. I believe I was top of tier. I think I sank 3 boats. Not a bad game overall. Yeah, this game's going to be a defeat, but this hull is not good, but I just think it's hilarious to watch these secondaries fire on this other destroyer. They're not good enough to grant me the win in this particular duel, just sailing around in a circle. This is actually not the optimal strategy. This is not what I should be doing. I'm just doing this because I want to stay within 2 kilometers just to make this meme part of the video a little bit more fun, but yeah. 76 secondaries firing on my destroyer friend over there. Anyway, it's pretty hilarious. There's not that many destroyers in the game with secondaries, and certainly these are not that good. I think it'd be really funny to try and spec into them. That would be hilarious. Anyway, thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.